This video demonstrates the installation of a new Keeney adjustable fill valve and flush valve. The first step will be to empty the water from the toilet tank. To do this, first shut off the water source and then flush the toilet. Once the toilet tank is drained, start by removing the existing water supply line from the tank. Next, remove the lock nut that's holding the current fill valve in place. You may want to have some towels or a bucket handy to catch any remaining water that may leak out during this step. Now, from the top of the tank, remove the existing fill valve assembly. Now we need to adjust the fill valve to the correct height. Your new fill valve adjusts easily and securely to the correct height by following these steps. First, pull down the safety ring. Next, twist the shank and pull down to adjust the height. Lock the shaft back into place by simply turning the shank and replacing the safety ring. Repeat this process until you reach the desired height. To determine the correct height for your tank, first locate the CL, critical level mark, found on the side of your fill valve. When the fill valve is installed, this mark should be at least 1 inch above the top of the overflow pipe, per plumbing code requirements. Removing only the lock nut, insert the threaded end of the valve through the hole in the toilet. Screw the lock nut onto the shank and gently tighten, being careful not to over-tighten. Disconnect the flapper chain from the flush lever. Now, we will need to separate the tank from the toilet bowl. Using the necessary tools, remove the hardware attaching the tank to the bowl. Once the hardware is removed, carefully lift the tank and lay the tank on its side. Removing the old flush valve consists of first, removing the tank to bowl gasket. Then, removing the lock nut behind it. The lock nut is easiest removed with the proper lock nut wrench, as shown here. On the new Keeney flush valve, remove the large nut. The Keeney flush valve features a flapper with a timing cone that allows you to customize your flush. Rotate the timing cone hole to the front of the flapper to put it into water-saving mode. Rotate the timing cone hole to the back for increased flush performance. You can also select a setting anywhere between the performance and water saver settings by simply rotating the timing cone to any position in between. Place the new flush valve into position and tighten the lock nut, being careful not to over-tighten. Place the new tank to bowl gasket onto the flush valve. Make sure the gasket sits firmly and evenly all around. Now, reposition the tank on top of the bowl and reassemble using the new hardware, making sure that the tank is level and secure, but do not over-tighten. Over-tightening could cause your tank or bowl to crack. Reconnect the water supply line, hand tightening only. Push or pull the Keeney no-cut overflow tube of the flush valve to adjust the height so that the top is no more than 3/4 of an inch above the water line. Now, we need to install the overflow tube. Place one end of the overflow tube onto the fill valve assembly. Stick the other end into the overflow pipe. Cut the overflow tube just long enough to reach into the overflow pipe without being stretched or kinked. Attach the flapper chain to the tank lever, allowing for a slight amount of play in the chain. Now, turn on the water and check for leaks at all connection points. To adjust the water level, simply perform the following. Depress the push button on the side of the float and raise or lower the float until the desired water level is achieved. Adjust the shutoff point to match the level on the flush valve or the toilet tank wall. If the water level is not marked, adjust the shutoff at least 1 inch below the top of the overflow tube. You may need to flush the toilet a few times to reach the desired water level in the tank.